everybody. Hopefully we're all doing good. Let me just move this camera slightly back to where it should be. There we go. Have to have the white noise on in the background. So I'm just testing the microphone this morning. We I think I had a slight error with it yesterday, but I don't know if it's just on my end, but hopefully it is sorted. I will listen to this back today just to see what it sounds like. But I just want to break down yesterday's trade, just if anyone missed it. And I will take off the white noise. So and I know more than 60% of the time I'm going to win on it. I just know that. So if this trade scares you for whatever reason, you got to just take more of these trades. So it may be worth taking some off, because I'll take some off. If not, I'm going to take half off wherever we are. And I took off just as we, but right, that's why we set rules. It's a win, right? I'm up just with half size because too many wins. And I know more than 60. Hopefully you got to see most of that. It's obviously short. It's taken a 2-hour video into 16 seconds. So, but anyway, that was the trade yesterday, and I've actually this week I've put 2 comments in the. I don't always write messages in the main chat because obviously I'm on stream, but I put 2 messages in the chat this week, basically saying about low expectations. One of them was low expectations due to the fact that we've got high impact news tomorrow and Friday, and secondly I wrote about the negative 100 that completed on Monday. Now we haven't gone anywhere since those extensions, so I just kind of want to just again reiterate the same point and reiterate the importance of obviously using these levels in terms of knowing when to trade and when to push it, when not to push it, right? I've taken a couple trades this week, literally a couple. One on stream and one off stream, I'm pretty sure. And it's Wednesday. So again, this is a 2 to 3 day a week job. This is not a full-time 24/7 need to be in the market trading every single point, every single tick. It's just not, that's just not the case, right? Those draws are pretty much again what we traded on Friday. So the chart is exactly the same on the ES as it is on the NQ, so I'm not going to show you. You can draw the same draws. They're exactly the same. The traditional that traded after the ETH low and weekly low on ES and on Friday and NQ on Friday, that high to high extension, which we came down to the 62 above the trend lines, and we had green diamond support. I just don't have it on this chart because it's a half an hour chart, but you can see that from Friday. Green diamond support, we had loads of true trend in our favor, etc, etc. That high to high, which is, if you want to draw this, is from 10 o'clock on Friday to the overnight high on Monday at 3:30. Now, I would imagine 90% of you guys were, sorry guys, I imagine 95% of you were, sorry, I've turned that off for me, not for you guys. I imagine 95% of you weren't actually trading at that point on Monday at 7 o'clock in the morning. If you were, you got a really nice trade, and that trade has pretty much been the only real decent trade this week, as far as 100 points or so. But yeah, that is the extension. So again, Monday's overnight draw into the traditional, and of course this was a same anchor new high. So at some point this negative 100 will get traded, but for now, the anchor that is being the most stubborn in terms of resistance, and obviously it will break at some point, and once that breaks, we'll have a continuation trade. But for now, the supply and the zone has been built, and again, that for me comes from the high to high from Monday's overnight session, and they completed that actually on Monday's session at 11:30. So since Monday at 11:30, you could have just gone on a 2-day holiday. You could have just stepped away from the market, and you haven't really missed much, if anything, really. We're pretty much about 50 points away from where we were on Monday after that completion, so haven't really done a great deal. If we go back to my chart to the left, I don't know if my smart buy zone is on here now. Yes, it is. So my smart buy zone is in the same place it was Tuesday and obviously today, so that hasn't changed. We just haven't come down to those areas. So why did I draw those areas at 140s and 120s? Again, that would be the same anchor new high, and it would be actually bidding the 62. But the reason for it initially is because if you can see on my screen, each day I will have 2 sort of trend lines that I'm looking to see if price holds above, or at least comes down to trade and then potentially go higher. If we trade and hold below, it's obviously a wait for price to get back above and potentially hold. But these two lines here, we've not actually come down to, none of them on Monday, none of them on Tuesday, and so far on Wednesday being today, the ETH trend line is actually coming down to 25 100s, which is would be really nice if we get that touch today, because again, that's where my smart buy zone has been all week here, so you can see. So that's kind of what I'll be having on my screen. It is also, let me just draw the same anchor new high on the 38. Yeah, the same anchor new high from what would be Friday's low. Let me just get the exact low. Yeah, the halfway back is in range for the ETH low on the day. So what I mean by that is this is the electronic trading hours, and this is the predicted on average low for the day. So if we are going to sell off and we are going to head lower, it would be completely normal and within range to actually come down to pretty much where this halfway back is for the week, including Friday's low, and the ETH low is within that. So just keep that on your radar. If we do sell off, maybe we come down to there if you want to take any sort of shorts, knowing that that's where we may get a mean reversion. I don't trade mean reversion plays that often in terms of shorting when we're in a trend. I would rather just wait for that pullback and take the pullback long as opposed to the short. But if you are that type of trader, have that on your radar in terms of a potential level we may test. Again, what I would be preferring is the high to high to hold, because that's when we broke true trend on Friday's ETH session. And since then, that's when we have been in the majority of the trend. And that's why I will continue to bid. Let me just make sure that's, yeah, the high to high. So I will continue to look for 2560s. I'm hoping the ETH trend line is at 25 100s. I'm hoping the RTH is around 2560s. That would give me double confirmation. And then obviously that's where I would look for to see if we build some support. But if you want to be more aggressive and not wait for those extensions, all I would be doing is pulling this draw back and looking at what would be your most aggressive high to hold. And if we do that, you can see those levels will be, depending if you take the RTH. I would take the ETH because the RTH is so close to the ETH, it makes no odds. I think we've already come down to the 38 year this morning and also yesterday. So we have found a little bit of a 1, 2, 3 low, 1, 2, 3 go on the lows so far. So 1, 2, 3 triple bottom lows at the moment. Those completions take you to 460s, 615s, and again, ETH, that is all within range for the day. So if we do flip green on the true trend, I will follow that up. Whilst I'm on that, Miller had a question about this morning. I took a long this morning just for 20 points, nothing too crazy. I took a long down here, and I took it to the, I'll show you. So this was the long I took this morning at the 50. In fact, I took it prematurely. I took it here at this 50. Came so close to my entry target, came down, same anchor new high, just drawing in the same traditional. Went to the full negative 100, and then obviously I was out the trade by about 73, so literally at the 23 there. Just for 20 points, just getting some more 25k accounts passed. Reason for that trade again, Miller. So just so you're aware, this was 2 green diamonds, and this was also 2 hourly lows. And I was betting that we weren't going to make a 3rd hourly low. So this was just basically a kind of a mean reversion play, bit of a deep discount play, knowing that there was a halfway back, knowing there was lots of manipulation on here, and knowing that this was a huge deviation from the true trend. So you can see this is like easy sales, semi-easy sales, and then this is like probably going to get a mean reversion, and obviously we did, and I can obviously show quite a few of those examples. But that was the trade this morning. Going into today, like I say, I don't really mind which level trades, but I will just wait for the true trend to hold. And if we are grinding up and we have green diamonds and triangle momentums to the upside, I will obviously take longs. 9 out of 10 times when those confirmations are confirming, there will be a fib sequence. It will just be identifying what that sequence is at that time. Because the market is always changing and moving, sequences are always changing and moving. So I will know more once we get confirmations. That's why I've built this new system to kind of show me. I don't really need to pay attention to every single sequence in the market, because I will know what is most likely in play once all the other confirmations are there. So right now, obviously we aren't really doing too much. We were trending down, we've broken that, and now we are pretty much just range bound. So once we actually build a trend and we actually have some more green diamonds and or triangle momentums, we're most likely going to trend up or down, and I will just trade that accordingly. But in terms of where I would like to go long, for a belated sort of long-winded breakdown this morning, I do apologize. It is going to be what I've pretty much broke down all week. And I know I'm not saying we're going to get there, but all I'm saying is in terms of where I'd actually want to be taking longs in this market, if I had the choice, it would be down here at the 25-100s, right? It makes 100% sense. Trendline support. This is the what would be the anchor from Friday's 11:30 low. The 50 takes you down to 25-20s. Again, any of this area here is completely valid for support discount longs, in my opinion. It's just, again, whether we get it, right? Because we could just do nothing for today, and then tomorrow we just get a 200-point move to the upside or to the downside. And hopefully we get an ABC where we can just follow, let the news make the move, have the correction, and then have the continuation. We will see what obviously happens tomorrow, and then CPI on Friday as well. So today's pretty irrelevant. Yesterday's pretty irrelevant. Monday's somewhat irrelevant. I think, again, as I said yesterday, the week is going to be made on tomorrow and Friday with the news. So I'm just trying to keep you guys entertained in the meantime, because I appreciate it's probably going to be a very boring couple of days, or it has been a very boring couple of days. I know we got some moves yesterday, but it's a very slow, boring week for me, just based on the fact of where we are. But again, it makes sense of why that is the case, and that's kind of what I'm trying to hopefully convey with the breakdown this morning, in terms of knowing where those negative 100s are on the week, because that is literally what is setting up the rejections of where we are, right? So you can see the negative 100s on both of these draws is pretty much where we spent all of this week. Okay, so it's not, we shouldn't be confused or wondering why that is the case. It's very obvious and very makes a lot of sense in terms of expansions. Now we just have to wait for a new trend to show itself, and hopefully we actually get a pullback to actually follow that trend. Otherwise, we just break out of this, and this will be a break and retest of the current highs that we're in, just like a traditional support and resistance. Okay, I will leave it there and jump on to Whoop, and we will go live on there. If there's any questions, let me know, and if I've not explained anything, just let me know on Whoop, and I will do it on there. Thanks for watching, guys.